Blend sound GSGC9. Zero 1 3 8 6 7 6 8 4 5 2 dialing 0 1 3 8 6 7 6 8 4 5 2 trying broadcast call connected searching framed.
Time to welcome our umpires Jeremy Lloyd and Neil Mallender. Very good morning, gentlemen.
And a very good morning to all our listeners as well from the Cooper Associates County Ground in Taunton. It is the third and what is certain to be the final day of this Specsavers County Championship match between Somerset and Warwickshire, which has moved along at an incredible pace. There are only 4 wickets left to fall out of the 20. The match situation overnight is that Warwickshire need another 136 runs to win, and Somerset need 4 wickets. Sam Hain is Warwickshire's main hope. He's on 43 not out, which is the highest individual total of the match so far, and Henry Brooks is with him on 1. Clive Eakin, Isabel Duncan and Stephen Lamb with you on commentary. And Isabel, first of all, very good morning to you.
Good morning, Stephen.
And what a session it could be.
Absolutely. I mean, what a torrent of wickets we've had over the last 2 days. In fact, I think I've added them all up. It comes to 36. 17 on day 1, 19 on day 2, and we'll see how they fare here on day 3. And certainly the favourites are Somerset, considering we've got a really sporty pitch down there, a testing pitch down there for these batsmen. Although Sam Hain looks pretty well set. He did last night, looked really quite solid. If he can stick around for a bit, yeah, there's a possibility here for Warwickshire. Perhaps the pitch will flatten out today. We'll wait and see.
Take us through the first over.
Okie dokie. Lewis Gregory, here he is. Just running towards us now from that river end and bowls, and that's left alone by Brooks, the new batsman, the teenager who's facing, and there is no run. 103 for 6, 136 required for Warwickshire to win, and Somerset want to grab those last 4 wickets. There are 2 slips here and a gully, a backward point, an extra cover, mid-off, mid-on, mid-wicket, and a long leg down there. Not such a big crowd today, but that's not surprising really, considering that we may not have much play today. Lewis Gregory again, most valuable player in the county championship bowls, and that's left alone. Nice tight line outside of off stump in that corridor of uncertainty. Thuds into the gloves of Stephen Davies, and there is no run. So Gregory's figures, 2 for 26. He's into his 7th over now. And yeah, certainly tumbling wickets over the last couple of days. It's been a real surprise really. It'll be an early finish today. Last night I think the tipping point was really Ambrose, the run out with Ambrose, and a wonderful direct hit from Bartlett. As Gregory is in again, another leave there from Brooks. That's 3 leaves in a row. Hasn't made him play yet.
Yeah, I haven't seen in recent times, I'd say the last year and this so far, I haven't seen any better fielding sides than Somerset.
Well, they certainly pride themselves with their fielding, don't they?
They really work at it. And direct hits when you've only got 1 stump to aim at are quite rare.
Yes, he was a point, wasn't he?
Yeah.
And yeah, that was there was a really flashy drive there, almost Vince-like. So just throws his hands at the ball, Brooks, and gets away with it. Shows a little bit of frustration there from young Brooks. Perhaps Hain's going to have a word with him. He's come down to the other end with a bit of gardening. Yeah,
it's a little bit out of character in terms of the Warwickshire approach to batting generally. They've been a bit more cautious than that. We've seen more of that from Somerset, actually, than we've had from Warwickshire.
Yes, that was a rush of blood. But he's relatively inexperienced in first-class cricket, Henry Brooks, who does play that with an open face, just goes backward of point, where it's fielded by that young man, George Bartlett, who's a bit of a jack-in-the-box. Probably the best fielder in the side for Somerset.
But just going back to the fielding, there's a lot of practice going into throws at 1 stump when you've got such a narrow margin.
Yeah.
And it's paid off on a couple of occasions. Tom Abel got one in the Royal London Cup in the group stages. Quite similar.
Well, they can be very big moments, can't they? And turn a game as Gregory bowls once more and just squares up to that off the back foot, does Brooks. So that's a maiden over for the first over of day 3 here, Somerset versus Warwickshire. The score remains on 103 for 6, and Warwickshire still require 136 runs to win. Hain on 43 and Brooks on 1.
It looks so good as well when you get a direct hit like that. It didn't look good to Tim Ambrose, but it looked good for people watching. Just to see the stumps dissolve with a direct hit.
Yeah, lots of cheers around the ground. It's a shame, I think the kids had gone home by then, hadn't they? It was school day yesterday with 1,200 kids, and they missed that, because most of them went home at lunchtime.
It's going to be Craig Overton to take up the attack from the Somerset Pavilion end. So Tom Abel turning to the same bowling pairing that took the new ball yesterday. Got 2 slips in for Craig O. Slightly hazier day than the first 2 here at Taunton as Overton runs in. This is off the pad, I think. It just drops down on the leg side. Overton follows through. Fields, no run.
It's not quite as green, is it, the pitch today? It's had a lot of sun on it over the last two and a bit days to lose some of that vibrancy. But it was pretty green on day 1. Made you think like it was going to be a seam bowler's paradise. But it's also taking a grip and turn from the spinners. We've seen that from Jeetan Patel and from Jack Leach as well.
Yes, I don't think it'll be long before we see Jack Leach introduced into the attack. Overton in. This is driven straight to Abel at cover, no run. It's much quieter than it was this time yesterday. We had all those school children coming in and taking up positions either side of the ground, some in the Somerset stand, some in the Ondarchy, and it greatly enlivened things.
Yeah, the ice cream van did well out of those kids. Blimey, made an absolute packet yesterday.
Here is Overton, and this is driven to backward point this time, and Hayne will feel a little bit unlucky not to get a single or more there, because it was well timed, nicely struck, but George Bartlett was in position to field. He's the man we were talking about with that run out, and it was from that position, backward point. Overton in again, and Haynes stabs a bat down on that, again pushes it out on the offside. Steady start from Somerset, from Overton and Gregory, which is what they need. They need to build pressure on these 2, make runs hard as damn it to come by.
Exactly. They can bowl a few maidens, it certainly does build pressure, and batsmen are more likely to make a mistake.
In again, Overton, and this is driven, and this time he does find the gap, and there will be runs, 4 of them. Through cover, and sweetly struck by Sam Hayne. That'll boost his confidence early in the piece.
We've had one or two tweets coming through. We were talking about fielding, and I mentioned George Bartlett, and I wondered if he was the best fielder in the side. In fact, Stephen has tweeted in, and he says he's a good fielder. The best in the squad is Tom Abel.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And you agree with that. I think the whole club would agree that the captain leads with a splendid example, says Stephen.
Here is Craig Overton, and this time it's played crisply to mid-wicket. Jack Leach is on station there, won't be a run. In fact, Sam Hayne has now equalled the highest score of the match, which is extras in the first innings.
Yes, well remembered, extra. But yes, Sam Hayne is streets ahead of other batsmen, because the second highest score is 36 from a batsman.
Yep.
That of Davy and Overton, both got 36. So Haynes, great achievement really, considering the low scores of this game. Brooks facing, continue with Lewis Gregory from the river end. He's pumping his arms as he darts in and bowls, and that's kept low and is left alone by Brooks outside the off stump. There was much chat of Brian the cat yesterday, wasn't there? Brian is a VIP who hangs out in the ground. We were watching him earlier on in the car park. He was enjoying the warm concrete over there and hanging out outside the kitchen by the Colin Atkinson Pavilion. We have a nice little quote in Wisdom, which I will read out in a moment, regarding Brian the cat holding up play at Taunton. So, once again, Gregory, here he is, bustling in. Oh, there's a genuine play and a miss at that from the lanky Brooks, just in that corridor run cell here. There's a slight misfield by Bartlett. He doesn't quite gather the ball at point. So they scamper through for 1. So Brooks goes on to 2 now, and the score 108 for 6. So here is the quote in wisdom. It's on page 581. It says, "Play was briefly held up on the last day when Brian, a ginger cat, who is a regular at Taunton, walked in front of the sight screen." Should know better by now, Brian. He's been coming here for years, and in fact he only lives next door, in one of the houses next door.
Yeah, but cats are a law unto themselves.
They're a bit snooty, aren't they? And they'll do what they want, quite frankly.
Indeed.
Human beings are generally staff, as far as they're concerned. 2 slips in the gully in place here as Lewis Gregory continues. He's going to be bowling to Hayne, Sam Hayne this time, and Sam Hayne, oh, it's a nice piece of fielding here by Tom Abel. Here he is, leading by example, as was quoted in the Twitter earlier on. He's at extra cover. It's hit quite hard to him. They do go through for 1, but he does prevent a boundary. 109 for 6, so Hayne ticks on to 48. Brooks now facing Henry Brooks on 2, into the 42nd over, so the ball getting a bit softer, that's for sure. I think Liam Norwell was talking about that last night when he was interviewed. He said, well, the ball's certainly going to be softer now. It's halfway through its life. 109 for 6. Lewis Gregory hurtling in and bowling. Oh, and he has. This time, it's caught an edge, and it's taken by the wicket-keeper, Stephen Davies. It kept low, but once again, it was just wafting outside, having a fence outside the off-stump from Henry Brooks. He'd done it 2 or 3 times before this morning, and this time he didn't get away with it, just not moving his feet.
Yeah, it seemed to be coming, didn't it? He played and missed a couple of times outside the off-stump, and it was a good catch by Stephen Davies. It was very low down. He must have taken it about boot height, I would guess. And not a difficult catch, but a good one, important for them to stick, and it did. So that's the first of the 4 breakthroughs that Somerset need this morning. And Brooks on his way back. Sam Hayne remains. I think we will, well, I'm sure we'll see the Warwickshire skipper come out next. Jeetan Patel. 109 for 7, so still 130 needed, and now just 3 wickets by Somerset.
Well, they'll still be hopeful, Warwickshire, because Jeetan Patel is extremely experienced. He's 39 years old. He's been round the block a few times. He knows how to bat. Sam Hayne is still there. Well, one of the star batsmen for Warwickshire.
These two, if Warwickshire are to do it, then these two need to get them somewhere near, don't they?
Absolutely.
Liam Norwell and Ollie Hannon-Dalby are the 2 remaining batsmen after these.
So, yeah, the deficit now 130, isn't it? 130 to win for Warwickshire. There's still a tall order on this pitch. There's still movement out there, despite the ball being almost 42 overs old. There's 1 ball left in this Lewis Gregory over. He's just waiting patiently at the top of his mark with his hands on hips.
3 for him now, 3 for 28 in his 8th. Just 1 delivery to go in this over.
Right, Jeetan Patel just preparing himself, going through the motions down there and surveying the scene, having a look at where the fielders are set. 2 slips in the gully in place. And here is Gregory. He's up to the crease, he bowls, and there's a play outside. There's another play and a miss there. He's following in the footsteps of young Henry Brooks, as is tempted to have a little dabble at that one, is Jeetan Patel. But the ball whizzes past his outside edge and he gets away with it. 109 for 7, following another successful over from Gregory. 3 for 28 off his 8 overs, Lewis Gregory. The golden boy.
That could easily have been 2 in 2, couldn't it?
Absolutely.
For Lewis Gregory. That was a peach of a delivery to end the over. A little bit more lift. There was a bit of movement there as well. And Patel absolutely flummoxed by it.
Yes, it's not really behaving, this ball, as if it's 42 overs old. It's still got plenty of life in it.
Craig Overton then will continue. Bowling to Sam Hayne, who's just 2 short of what would be the first half century of the game. He leaves the first ball, lets it go through to Davies, the catcher, in the previous over. Doesn't miss much,
no.
Stephen Davies. Very reliable keeper.
Well, he's very tidy and very elegant in almost everything he does. Lovely through the covers. He just hits it so crisply through the covers, Stephen Davies.
Overton. And again, that's outside the off stump and left alone by Hayne. Davies takes. He's got the 2 Somerset seniors alongside him. James Hildreth first slip, Marcus Trescothick second.
Yes, he owns that position, Marcus Trescothick, doesn't he? He's turned himself into a specialist slip fielder. Not the most mobile in the field, from his build and his age, of course. He's 43 now, but he's perfect in the slips.
Does short leg every now and again as well.
Yes, he did do that earlier.
And silly point as Overton is in, and that one hits Hayne on the pad as he shaped to defend. He was well outside the line of off stump, so no appeal of any strength or significance.
Yes, Clive was commenting on that when Trescothick was put himself in, I think, at short leg, that it was way beyond the call of duty, and wasn't there somebody younger who could do it? Normally it's almost the short straw, isn't it? Where you get battered.
This one from Overton is driven, but no great power in the stroke. Tom Abel fields at cover, no run. So Somerset have one. They're striving for another. There hasn't been much in the way of scoring so far today. It's a lovely extra cover drive from Hayne. 109 for 7 as Overton runs in. And this is down the leg side, and I'm not sure what Craig Overton was appealing for there. It's gone down for a leg by to long leg. Even I could tell that was going down the leg side.
Absolutely drifting down the leg side. Surprised that the batsman Hayne didn't get any bat on it.
So that brings the skipper onto strike. Jeetan Patel, first time he's batted at that end, in fact, in this match, because he was out very early on yesterday morning. Second ball of the day. Brilliant catch by Tom Abel at cover, one-handed above his head, leaping. Overton bowls, hit on the pad here, and shouts more of optimism than expectation from the slip cordon. Ball again goes down to Josh Davey at long leg for a leg by. Nelson for Warwickshire.
Yes, no hopping. I don't think these umpires are particularly superstitious. We've got Jeremy Lloyds down there and Neil Mallender. And I noticed on the last time we had 1-1-1, I don't think there was too much hopping going on. I think they generally ignored it. It's David Shepherd, wasn't it, who used to do the hopping?
It was.
Or not necessarily the hopping, he's quite a large chap, wasn't he? Just standing on one leg.
Lifting a leg.
Lifting a leg, yeah.
Yes.
Gregory will continue again from this river end on another sunny day here at Taunton. Enjoyed the sunshine for the last couple of days. Here he is. He bowls, and there's a half-hearted shout there, or strangled cry. But I think that came off a little bit of bat, perhaps the toe end of the bat.
Possibly. I remember David Shepherd once explaining why Nelson was known as Nelson, which I hadn't known. Partly that, yes.
Although Nelson wasn't missing 3 limbs, was he? So that doesn't make sense. I think it was only 2. When I say only 2, it's not much fun.
I'll explain in a minute.
Yes, you obviously know the facts. As he's in once again, that's Lewis Gregory. Looking a bit quicker this time, bowling to Jeetan Patel. He's the new batsman, yet to get off the mark. 111 for 7. I was just talking about the superstitions of 111.
Yeah, the answer was from David Shepherd. Why is it Nelson? Because Nelson had one eye, one arm, and one lump of sugar in his tea.
That's what it like. I like that. I was wondering what how the third limb came into it. Lewis Gregory, here he is, charging in and bowling as a play and a miss here, just reaching for it, Patel, as the ball just nips away off the seam and luring him out of the crease there, Patel. 111 for 7. They've only added 8 so far this morning, Warwickshire, but they've lost a wicket today, that of the youngster Brooks, who went for 2, caught by Davies and bowled by Gregory.
He looks anything but comfortable against Gregory. Patel, he's played and missed twice already.
Patel continues crouched in his crease. Here is Gregory once again, and that's well played. He just angles the bat down towards third man. I'm not sure it's going to make it. The fielder's in hot pursuit. He hasn't quite made it. The ball has trickled over the ropes there in front of the pavilion, and they'll get 4 runs off the bat of Patel. He's off the mark with that.
Nicely
He's
placed.
in control of that shot. So he goes on to 4, and the total now 115 for 7. 124 more runs required to win for Warwickshire, but only 3 wickets in hand. Yes, Norwell was the pick of the Warwickshire bowlers. He took a 7 for 41 in the end. Not quite his best figures. I think he's taken an 8 for before, but on debut for Warwickshire, of course. What a great start for him. Gregory hurtles in and bowls, and that is mistimed into the onside where it's fielded by mid-on. There is no run there for Jeetan Patel, who has been looking a little bit iffy facing the bowling of Gregory. Gregory's got 3 for 32. That'll help him gather some points for his MVP value. You win a bit of cash at the end of the season if you win that. 10 grand, I think you get. Yes. Nice little bonus for the winter. Pay for your skiing holiday. No, they're not allowed to go skiing, are they? It's been written into their contracts. Gregory bowls. Oh, that was going down leg, and I think he's got a bit of pad on that. We're going to get 4 byes. That's a signal by umpire Neil Lavender, who gently taps his knee and signals. 119 for 7 following those 4 byes. Added into the extras column, goes up to 13 now. And should be the end of the over. Yes, it is. So Hayne on 48, Patel on 4. And how many more runs required? 120 now.
Yeah, 16 scored so far today, and half of them in that over, in fact.
Yes, we'll see if experience can win the day for Warwickshire here. Patel, of course, having the most experience. Just having a look at the number of first-class games he's played in, 281.
Here is Craig Overton bowling to Sam Hayne, who wants a single as he plays it sharply up in the direction of Grunewald at mid-off. They will get a single comfortably. Grunewald having to run to his right. Had a shy at the stumps at the striker's end, but didn't hit, and Patel would have been home anyway.
It's right to put the pressure on, and as you say, they are a top-class fielding side, Somerset. If you're going to take these quick singles, you've got to be pretty sharp out of the blocks.
Patel just settling after taking guard. Ready now as Overton comes in, defends. Tom Abel in from cover to field, alert as ever.
Yes, I wonder how soon it'll be until Jack Leach comes on.
Wouldn't surprise me if he was first changed this morning.
Well, he bowled well yesterday and he was getting a certain amount of turn.
Overton in. Oh, that's a beauty. Jumped at Patel, and he had a stab at it, but couldn't make any contact. Goes down to prod what he sees as an offending spot or two in the wicket. That was a snorter.
That lifted off a length there, didn't it? Again, an unplayable ball. It really was, and he did well to keep out of the way of it.
Overton in again, and that is wicket number 2 of the morning. Leg stump uprooted, and Patel hadn't really looked comfortable, in all honesty. He played and missed just the previous delivery from Craig Overton and twice at Lewis Gregory, and that was a Yorker which penetrated his defences, and the Warwickshire captain has gone. The 8th wicket down, and with 119 still needed. They're just over halfway to the target, Warwickshire, but they've only got 2 wickets left. Somerset marching inexorably, one feels here. Just 2 more wickets needed.
Good variation there from Overton. Intelligent bowling. He put that one that we described as the snorter that lifted off a length. Then he went for the Yorker. That full length ball, a little bit of late swing, and that got Jeetan Patel. A dramatic wicket, you might add, with the stumps flying out, cartwheeling out of the ground.
Yeah, always important to get the captain as well. Although Patel doesn't play primarily for his batting. He's a bowler who bats, I think it's fair to say. But it's still a psychological moment, isn't it?
Absolutely, he's got the experience. He averages over 20 in first-class cricket. He's a capable batsman. But yeah, You do sense victory here for Somerset, that's for sure. Now they've got rid of Jeetan Patel, with only Norwell and Hannon Dalby to come, who are not known for their batting.
Norwell having quite a lengthy chat, actually, with Sam Hain out there at the moment. Hain, who's just one short of his half-century now, and will be urging, I'm sure, Norwell to hang in there for him. He needs the support, does Sam Hain. Here's Overton. Bowling to Norwell, defends. Maybe slightly tentatively back to the bowler, but right off the middle of the bat.
Yeah, Sam Hain just one off his half-century, as you were saying. I want to reach that. It'll be a personal landmark for him, coming back into the game having had an injury, a niggle.
Overton, last ball of the over. In, and oh, that's beaten Norwell. That's a tremendous over from Craig Overton. Beat Patel and then castled him, and now he's beaten Norwell as well. Tremendous. 11 overs, 3 maidens, 2 for 27. Craig Overton. Now, bowling like this, you don't need a bowling change, really. Because
it's exactly what I was thinking just then. I was thinking, well, these two bowlers, I'm sure, will stay on. They're taking wickets. They're causing problems. It's almost as if they're bowling with a new ball, the shape that the ball is producing. It's nipping off the seam, it's moving in the air, and the ball is 45 overs old, causing all sorts of problems. Not so many problems for Sam Hain, who's an established batsman, and is looking quite confident out there. 120 for 8, but he's running out of partners. He's on 49, and Lewis Gregory has begun his run-up. He's just picking up his heels. He runs in and bowls. He's popped in the bouncer to Sam Hain, who just saw that nice and early and just easily ducks out of the way.
yeah, I don't think he could have reached that if he tried, Sam Hain.
It would have been a tennis serve, I think, if he hit that.
Yeah, I mean, there were some murmurings yesterday evening of worry amongst Somerset supporters I detected about pitches here flattening out on the third day, but I don't think that is the case.
No.
It's still doing a bit, isn't it?
It was up for discussion, though, of course, overnight. We were talking about it. It's happened in the past. As Gregory is in and bowls, and gets a little tickle on that or not. Or is it going to go for byes?
If it was a tickle, it'll go down as a missed chance, which...
Well, yes, it was.
It will do.
It was. It was a thin inside edge there from Hain.
It's 50 for Sam Hain.
He gets his 50, gosh. He gets his 50 in a streaky way with a little tickle of an inside edge. And Davies was nearly onto that. I mean, he has taken catches in the past.
It was a difficult one.
Very difficult.
He was diving one-handed. It was in the league of the one Tim Ambrose held earlier in the game. Would have been a great catch.
Absolutely. Tricky. I'm not sure you can even call it a drop. 121 for 8, and Hain goes on to his 50 with that.
It's always a bit hard, isn't it? I'll come back to it after this delivery.
Norwell facing. Gregory, here he is, bustling in and bowling, and that's left alone. Nice shape outside of the off stump there, just nipping away.
It's always called a drop, isn't it, if you get a hand to it? But
yeah,
sometimes it's a bit harsh.
Often unfair, isn't it? I mean, if you get a hand to it, sometimes you can take the pace of it. I think he saved 4, I would say, there, by getting something on it.
Yeah, that's the full view.
Well, we know how capable Stephen Davies is. 121 for 8 here at Warwickshire, requiring another 118, and that's found the gap nicely there off Norwell's bat. It'll get him off the mark. They'll come back for the second as the ball just escapes down towards the third man region. It's winged back in, didn't have many legs on it. And Norwell comes through for 2, and the score 1-2-3 now for 8. But you just get the feeling that Warwickshire are really on the slippery, slidey slope into the abyss here, with Sam Hain running out of partners. We've had 2 wickets this morning, Brooks for 2, Patel for 4, and the ball is certainly doing a lot. Gregory bowls, and that's played late there by Norwell. There's a misfield there, which is very out of character, and they steal a single.
Yeah, Bartlett will be livid with himself about that.
Very out of character from Bartlett. He's cross with himself as he marches back to his position at point.
Possibly should have gone with 2 hands, went with 1, but might have been awkward with 2 because it was well to his left.
Well, he's gifted Norwell a run, so Norwell goes on to 3 and 124 for 8. You do think in the grand scheme of things, though, it probably won't matter. But everybody has personal standards here. 124 for 8, Warwickshire. Somerset just needing a couple more wickets here. Pops in the bouncer, that's left well alone by Sam Hain. They want Sam Hain to stay down that end, because they'll want to bowl at Norwell.
Exactly, and I'm sure that was the reason for the bouncer as well. The one at the start of the over was to stop him getting that single for the 50.
Yeah.
And the one at the end was to keep him firmly at the non-striker's end.
That's right, and the plan has worked for Somerset. They'll want to have a go at Norwell out there. He's not known for his batting. However, I said that, he does have a century to his name, a high score of 102 in first-class cricket.
And got nicely off the mark as well, just now. He's on strike, and he's going to be facing Craig Overton. Three slips in as Overton approaches and bowls, and that's short, and Norwell gets well underneath it. Lets it go through to Davies. Somerset will want to go for the jugular here.
Yeah, I think it's going to be difficult to get the ball out of Overton's hands and also Gregory's. And they're doing the business at the moment. They'll be licking their lips.
Come on, Craigo, says Tractor, who's arrived at the ground. In, driven, and that's going to be 4. Nice looking stroke from Liam Norwell. And bobbles over the rope just underneath Gimblit's Hill, which is another popular spot for spectators, with its wooden benches cleared up towards St James Churchyard.
Now, Tractor's a real character here. I remember Tractor from previous years. He usually sits under that sight screen, not the sight screen, the scoreboard.
That's where he is. That's where you hear those rich tones. As Overton is in, there's an appeal here for LBW, given not out by Jeremy Lloyds. I sensed there that Overton went up just fractionally late.
I think the ball was a bit high as well, wasn't it? I think Jeremy Lloyds is correct in his judgment there. They just want to get through these batsmen. They've certainly been rattling through Warwickshire in this innings.
Sam Hain's going to have a quick word with Liam Norwell. No doubt of the encouraging variety. Overton turns and sets off again. In. Oh, here's another appeal for LBW, and I think that was going down leg side. I think the other one was closer, actually, the previous one.
I think the previous one was straighter, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But perhaps it was height that got him.
Yeah. But that looked as though it was drifting legwards.
Yeah. That's been tending to do that in this spell from Overton. Tending to go more leg side. But he's bending his back, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's an eager beaver this morning.
Sets off again. Bowls, and Norwell defends. Back to him, and he just gives him a little bit of a glance.
I'm just thinking that I enjoy this sort of hostility from a fast bowler. As long as he's not too lippy down there. I know he's been in trouble before with some disciplinary panels, etc. But it's exciting cricket when a fast bowler is on fire and dominating like this.
There's just a slight adjustment to the field with George Bartlett being pushed deeper at backward point. So there would be a comfortable single now for Norwell in that area. Plays and misses at that, outside the off stump, and so I think the ploy was to offer Norwell a single in order to get him up to the other end, but in the event he played and missed anyway, so it'll be Sam Hain who's on strike.
It's the subtle movement of fielders to give him the single. Sam Hain, who's on 50 exactly, easily the highest scorer of individual batsmen. We did mention the second highest score was extras on 47. It's when Warwickshire were bowling in that first innings. But Hain has done well to get to 50 in very testing conditions. Gregory, here he is. Bowls, and that's flicked off the toes there of Hain. They're going to take one, and they should come back for the second. The ball is in the hand of the fielder out there. It's George Bartlett. They come back comfortably for 2. And Hain keeps the strike, which is the grand plan here for Warwickshire. 130 for 8 now. 130, they require 113 runs with 2 wickets remaining, Warwickshire, to win. And certainly the favourites here are Somerset this morning on a tricky pitch. 2 slips in the gully in place. They've got a deep mid-wicket out there for Hayne. He's found the gap. No, he hasn't found the gap. Excellent piece of fielding. Who was that? It was Azhar Ali who dived onto that and cut it off. It looked like it had 4 runs written all over it off the bat of Sam Hayne, but really good piece of fielding there from Azhar Ali. 130 for 8 it remains. Hayne still facing. That was out towards mid-off, or wide of mid-off. Yes, it's a much lighter colour, the pitch today. A lot of that green has faded away, but the pitch hasn't flattened out. You can tell by the results here, as Gregory is in and bowls again, and that's played out towards deep point, and they'll get a single there, just ticking through. Henge's on to 53, and the score 131 for 8. Halfway through this Gregory over, he's on 3 for 29, and it does bring Norwell to the business end of things, which is what Somerset desire right now.
Yeah, Gregory's got 3 deliveries to bowl at Norwell, potentially. And, yep, have a break, Isabel.
Oh, how lovely, thank you. Cup of tea.
Yeah, enjoy that. And Gregory is on his way. And there's a little bit of a fiddle and flap outside the off stump there from Norwell. Not sure whether he actually played it in the end. Went through to Davies. 131 for 8. Good morning, Clive Eakin.
Good morning. It can become a bit cliched and indeed a bit tiresome to talk about looking for positives every time you lose. But certainly a positive for Warwickshire in this match has been the performance of Sam Hayne with the bat. Gregory bowls, and that's played by Norwell to the onside for no run. It'll be encouraging to see him score by some distance now the highest individual score of the match, the only half century, and look pretty accomplished in doing it. I think that chance that brought up his half century was the only chance he's given.
Yeah, a difficult one. They're always difficult, aren't they?
Yeah.
Down the leg side, diving.
Gregory in, 2 more wickets needed by Somerset. Norwell just keeps that one out. I did ask him whether he'd hit the winning runs. He said, oh, after that better than I did in the first innings. He was a bit grumpy about the way he got himself out.
He did well with that ball, actually.
He did.
Was a full length. That was Yorker length.
He's on 7. Warwickshire 131 for 8. 108 needed to win. 107 for the tie. We take that. But just 2 wickets required for Somerset. And their tactic yesterday was confirmed in the after day interviews very much. Yes, they're attacking, but they're not overly attacking. They want to just make it difficult to score runs on the basis that sooner or later a ball will have the batter's name on it.
Well, that's how it's felt all game, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Still need another 108, Warwickshire.
Awful lot. Just going back to they had about 70 odd for 7 at one stage, second innings.
Here's Craig Overton starting a new over, and first ball is a dot as it's played firmly up to Tim Greneveld at mid-on.
If Warwickshire had from there managed to wrap them up and get them out for 100, then they'd be sort of 40 away now, and it would be probably still a bit too far away, but it'd be tantalising. Perhaps missed that opportunity in that second innings. A credit to the Somerset lower order.
Well, especially this man who's got ball in hand at the moment, making 36 not out. Overton in, and once more there won't be a run here because it's a fuller length delivery, which is dug out and pushed up to Greneveld again.
Reasonable smattering of people in here today. It is free admission today. They announced that yesterday, so every ball that Warwickshire survives, I suppose, is a bonus for the crowd, a bit more free cricket.
Well, and while Hayne's there, hope doesn't completely fade as Overton's in again, outside the off stump and left alone.
No, I mean, clearly it doesn't, but it just seems, as I say, if they need another 40 or so now, it would be very interesting, which it could have been if they managed to wrap up Somerset's innings when they have them in trouble, but just 108 looks too many.
Yeah,
but
and those extras as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's the no balls, I think, that would be the concern. I can forgive them the other extras on this pitch.
This one from Overton is full length, on off stump, and defended back to him. He has a shy, Craig Overton, which misses, which is pretty poor with all 3 stumps to aim at. But I think he was home anyway.
Yeah. Race on for which match finishes first, this or Chester Street. This one's probably ahead at the moment, but Gloucestershire need 41 more to win against Durham. 2 wickets down. And coming into 3rd place is the game at Old Trafford.
Overton a bouncer, which Hayne gets well underneath.
Lancashire 9 for 1, chasing 126 to beat Worcestershire there. A low scoring game. So games are coming towards an end. Quite an interesting finish at Derby as well. It's the final day there, and Glamorgan just bowled Derbyshire out, so they're chasing 245 to win, so that could be quite an exciting game. They've got about 80 odd overs left. That will be a bit of a thriller.
Overton full length and driven up to Greneveld again. He's been quite busy this over. It's the 3rd time he's been in action. End of it now. 13 overs, 3 maidens, 2 for 31, Craig Overton.
I was going to say it, Sam Hayman looked frustrated there. He was obviously looking to try and get a single and get on strike, but he just hit it straight to mid-on. So that puts the test on Norwell now against Lewis Gregory. I think Hayne, what he'll see this morning, the way Henry Brooks played a miss before he's out, the way Chetan Patel looked in terrible trouble, I think he needs to be getting as much of the strike as he can.
Yeah, the Brooks dismissal, it followed a couple of play and misses, didn't it? Gregory looked to have his number.
Gregory now to Norwell. 3 slips in the gully in place going down the leg side. Slight waste of a delivery from Lewis Gregory. I was just updating my stats for the county championship this season. A couple of things I spotted. One is that Liam Norwell's 7 for 41 are the best innings figures anywhere in the county championship so far this season. We're early days. 23 completed games and 7 currently in progress. But his 7 for 41 are the best. And his match figures, actually 9 wickets for 60 odd, are also currently the best in the 1st division. This one is played to mid-on, there's no run. There have been 2 10-fers in the 2nd division, so he's got the best bowling figures anywhere in the county championship so far this season in innings, and the best in the 1st division in a match. And just while I was doing them, Lewis Gregory, I think, and this is something slightly harder to follow, but I think has still got the quickest century in the 1st division, his 121 ball century at Taunton. There have been a couple quicker in the 2nd division, but none in the 1st so far. And Gregory comes into bowl now to Norwell, who drives that. Nice looking shot straight to a fielder. And 3 more balls for Gregory to try and get Norwell out. That last one was a decent one, made the batsman play.
Yeah, huge value. We've mentioned about Lewis Gregory being the most valued player at the moment in the championship. But the guy with the ball at the other end as well, Craig Overton, so useful. He showed it with the bat yesterday in both disciplines.
Gregory in, and this one Norwell doesn't have to play at, and good to see him leave it. Something that certainly Chetan Patel and perhaps to a lesser extent Henry Brooks seem to forget, the leave as a shot in their armoury. To be fair, the bowling was pretty good to Brooks, and he probably felt he had to play at the ones that he missed. So the first ball Chetan Patel got was a completely unnecessary play when he should have left it. I know it's easy to play the game sitting up here, but that was a good lead from Norwell there. Gregory into him. That's a Yorker length delivery, and he's kept that out well, Norwell. And Gregory just gently deflects the ball onto the non-striker stumps in case Hayne is dawdling. But Hayne was safely back. 131 for 8. Plenty of time, of course, for Somerset. They got all today and all tomorrow. I'll be very surprised if it takes them that long, or it takes Warwickshire that long, but in theory, time is not an issue in this match. As in comes Gregory to bowl. And that one, he almost plays on there, Norwell. That one bounced up at him. He, I think, saw it a bit late, and he just tried to fend it away. It's hit part of his bat and his body, and bounces down by his feet. It's hurt him a little bit, not too much. He's walking to Hayne, but it could easily have got him out. He survives the full over there, Norwell. No addition to the score. Warwickshire 131 for 8, still leave a small matter of 107 to tie.
You haven't given up on that tie, have you?
No.
First bowling change of the day. It's not going to be Jack Leach, as I predicted earlier. It's going to be Tim Greneveld coming on in place of Craig Overton at the Somerset Pavilion end. You might see Jack Leach at the River end. In fact, he is turning an arm over as I speak, out at deep extra cover. So he may well have had the nod from Tom Abel. It could be a double change here.
It's funny, I was looking, both Warwickshire's innings now have lasted longer than both of Somerset's innings in terms of overs.
Which is an indicative of the contrasting approach of the two sides.
Somerset didn't manage to get to the 50th over in either of their innings.
Here's Tim Greneveld's first ball of the day to Sam Hayne, who drives out to the aforementioned Jack Leach, who's on patrol out at deep cover.
I'm a little surprised that Sam Hayne's done that. I know Norwell's a competent batter, and I know he doesn't want to turn any runs down, but he's got Norwell on strike with 5 balls to go, and Gloucestershire will be very happy with that.
So will Somerset.
Somerset will, yeah. Gloucestershire won't be, actually, will they? They probably don't want Somerset to win, to be fair.
I don't know. There's a little bit of ambivalence about that in parts of the West Country, as this is driven up to mid-off. Lewis Gregory, the fielder. I think there are some... I think certainly with one-day cricket, I remember there was a final when the two sides met each other, and there was general delight around the West Country that they both got that far. Even, whichever.
Yeah, but they still wanted to hammer each other, presumably, when they got there.
Indeed, absolutely. This is outside the off stump, and it's a play and a miss from Norwell. Yeah, that almost goes without saying.
Yes, that was pretty tentative from Norwell. It was drifting away. It's probably one he could have left. Not on height, to be fair to him, and there's always that uncertainty. Sam Hayne comes down the pitch, has a word. He just might be wondering, Hayne, should I really have exposed Norwell this early in the over?
Here is Greneveld again. Outside the off stump. Is that an edge? No, it's not. It was a play and a miss. It was a real heave-ho, really, from Norwell.
Well, that's kind of his natural game, but...
we've seen it, though, haven't we, this morning?
Yeah.
But that must be half a dozen times we've seen it.
I don't think his pitch has softened up at all. I think there was a theory, it's getting a bit easier. And obviously, with the ball getting older, it's maybe not as quick, but I don't think it's changed much.
Greneveld again. This is driven, but mistimed. Will be fielded at mid-on by Azhar Ali.
Last ball of the over, so a man drops out in the deep, in fact, a few men dropping out in the deep in case Norwell wants a single. Be interesting to see if he does hit it into space, whether they take the one. I wouldn't, but we'll see.
Yes, Hayne indicating faith in him at the start of the over. Greneveld then, and it's defended. Back to him, there's our answer, and that means that Norwell has safely negotiated 5 deliveries, and Sam Hayne will be on strike to Jack Leach. 132 for 8. Hayne is 54, Norwell's 7. Another 107 needed. And
we're going to see a spin in then. Yes, it's moving painfully slowly as well for Warwickshire. Just that one run off that over, taking the target down to 107. Be nice if they could get it to double figures. That'd be the next sort of target. And then you never quite know. But here comes Jack Leach then. Good applause for him. 1 for 13 in his 7 overs thus far in the second innings.
Yeah, struck in his first over yesterday. Jack Leach. He'd love to do so again today. 2 wickets needed by Somerset to wrap up what would be their 3rd championship win of the season. 3 out of 4, having drawn against Surrey last week.
And unfortunately for Warwickshire, it would be a 3rd defeat, and that's 3 out of 3. And they were just about crawling to double figures in terms of points with the 3 bonus points they've collected. Sam Hain taking guard. So it is good to see him in a bit of nick with the red ball. And testing conditions for him to get this 50. This half century's got to be a boost. Now the field is spreading out again, so there is a 1 there for him if he wants. Long on's gone back. There's man back of square legs gone back. Long off is back. Don't think he'll be charging down the pitch and hitting it over the top. Leach round the wicket to Hain, who just defends that back to the bowler. There's no run. He wants to try and get runs, pierce the gap maybe on the offside. There is a sweeper there. He'd have to try and avoid him if he's going to be able to get at least 2. Maybe a sweep on the leg side if he can beat the fielder out there. He'd come down the pitch and hit it to long on. Well, he has taken a single. Second ball of the over.
Yeah, given every invitation as well. Long on, long off, and they're coming in now because they know that Norwell, the lesser of the 2 batsmen, is on strike.
I'm not sure about this, I have to say, and if they carry on like this, it'll take them 106 overs to win the game. If you get a single of every over and Norwell survives, it could be it tomorrow.
Actually, they haven't come the whole way in. Those, yes, they are not. They are now, or one of them is anyway.
Well, I think they fancy that Norwell might be tempted to try. Mind you, I'd bring them in and invite him to go over the top and hope he mishits it, because they've got plenty of runs to play with here, Somerset. Anyway, he defends the first one, back to the bowler, just moves to his left to stop it.
They've kept the pressure on really well, Somerset, through this innings, really.
2 slips in place, and in comes Leach. Norwell just dabbed it out to the onside. Now, 2 balls left in the over. Are they tempted to drop men further back and give Norwell the option of a single towards the end of the over? Leach coming round the wicket, 2 slips in place to say Marcus Scothick on his knees, and he's got an edge there, Norwell, and it squirts along the ground to backward point. He doesn't get a run. 133 for 8.
Indicative of some turn, maybe.
Yeah, now the field, the square legs drop back a little bit. That's the only change. Last ball of the over. Last chance for Leach to get Norwell out this over, and it's a 4 defensive from Norwell. He's dealt with that pretty well. There's one little edge, wanted to go along the ground. And again, they got 1 run, so as I say, Warwickshire's tactic clearly is to win this about 20 overs into tomorrow.
Get them in singles, 1 and over.
Yeah, that would be some performance, wouldn't it? They managed that. 133 for 8. 52 overs gone. For what it's worth, there are 83 scheduled left in the day, but something very strange would have to happen if we were to get those. Quite a few people on the balconies and in the flats, and on the roof garden there, enjoying the cricket while they can, while it's still on.
Tim Greneveld going to continue, and here's a drive straight to Tom Abel.
Yeah, again, Hain, he's getting a little frustrated there, because I think he felt that was one that he could have dispatched to the boundary, but he hit it straight into the ground to the fielder. Missed an opportunity to score runs. He knows he's got to try, and it is easy to say sitting up here, but he's got to try and score runs. If I should have any chance, they've got to get the scoreboard moving.
This one is driven again, onside this time. Azhar Ali is the fielder at mid-on, so again it's a dot ball, despite the positive intent. Feel free to tweet us if you'd like to comment on the proceedings. At Lamb165 is my Twitter handle. And Clive, you're on
BBC Cov Sport.
And fine glance for Isabel Duncan as Greneveld is in again. This is off the inside edge and is going to be a single, but not quite where he intended. Sam Hain goes out to mid-wicket and Azhar Ali runs around to field.
Yes, this all adds a little bit to the frustration here with Sam Hain. He's playing well, but it's not quite going the way he'd like at this moment in time.
He goes to 56 with that, 134 for 8. 105 still needed. Shouts of encouragement as Greneveld runs away from us. Bowls outside the off stump and driven for 4. This will go all the way to the extra cover boundary. well struck by Liam Norwell. It's an impressive looking stroke for a number 10, and indicative of his batting ability. So 101 now needed.
And small little triumphs that Warwickshire have now beaten their own first innings score.
As Grenville is in again, and Norwell gets up on his toes and defends. Azarali, the fielder, at mid-on. Walking around parts of Taunton yesterday evening, it's much easier to find the ground now if you arrive in Taunton not knowing exactly where it is.
Floodlights, yes. Although it's a bit frustrating as you come off the station. I mean, it's a reasonably direct walk, but it looks like it should be more direct. You can see the lights there.
Grenville bowls outside the off stump, and there's a heave-ho here from Norwell, which goes straight and will bring him a single as
I think
Gregory runs around the field.
Might be a little harsh to say, but that's a caught and bowled sharp chance missed there by Gregory. He got his hands to it.
Grenville,
rather. He got his hands to it, but couldn't hang on. It was travelling at a fair lick. He hasn't hurt his fingers. That's the good news. Or if he has, he's not showing it. But he's just looking at his hand now. Actually, he's just flexing it slightly. It was a sharp chance.
So that's 2 sharp chances this morning.
Yeah. Tension of being close to victory. Just 2 more wickets required still for Somerset. Still very much in charge here. Warwickshire have got the target down to a neat 100, so 1 more run will get it down to double figures. It is displayed on the scoreboard, one of the scoreboards, just away to our left, so the players can see that. It'd be nice to get it down to double figures. But Norwell is on strike, taking that single off that last ball, and that one turned a bit into him from Leach, and he plays it into the ground, back to the bowler. There's no run.
But they are very clearly visible, those floodlight pylons. They're pretty tall. They're taller than average.
This next one is Yorker length delivery, which almost gets through, and Norwell just about keeps it out. That's a chat with Steve Davis, the wicketkeeper. Yes, the ones at Edgbaston, of course, partly for planning reasons, to try and reduce the light pollution, they bend right into the ground, so they're not upright like these ones are. Leach bowls, and that's played out to long off for a single by Norwell. Will get him off strike and takes on to 13, so it's a useful little cameo from Norwell. It's Warwickshire still fighting. I think they have shown some fight in the second innings without ever looking as if they were going to get close. It's 20 added now for the 9th wicket. 140 for 8. Still 2 slips in for Hayne. Rest of the field fairly well spread out as he plays a forward defensive for no run.
The floodlights in Bristol are a little bit like the Edgbaston ones. Actually, they've got a kink towards the top to aim them further in.
And the one at Edgbaston was sort of near the middle there. They really do point in as this next one. He comes down the pitch, Hayne, he plays it back. I remember talking to Dennis Amos when they were talking about lights, and at first Warwickshire was struggling to get planning permission. They used to have the temporary lights sort of 4 times a season or whatever. And he did say that he was invited into a house of a neighbour's while the floodlights were on. He said you could do your gardening in it. It was the light pollution was that much, so that's why they had to try and get them directed into the ground and avoid the light pollution to the nearby gardens. He's having a chat, Joe Leach here, with this is Captain Tom Abel.
Indeed.
What they're discussing?
Must be about the field.
Is there a possibility we probably won't go on to lunch here, but we might? Are we going? Did you think they'll remember to bring us a lunch if we're still playing?
We've played nearly an hour, long enough.
Yeah, 2 wickets. Those 2 wickets. Henry Brooks caught behind off Lewis Gregory for 2. That was in the 4th over of the day, 3rd over of the day rather, and then 3 overs later, Jitan Patel bowled by Overton. But we have had actually 9 overs since then now, without a wicket falling. 20 more runs added. Leach in, and Hayne defends that, which does mean that Liam Norwell's on strike. at the start of the next over. 140 for 8, 54 overs bowled. Warwickshire's target 99, and so they haven't got down to double figures, but Somerset still just require the 2 wickets for victory.
The other oddity about the floodlights here, and I have yet to ascertain the reason, is that 4 or 3 of them are pretty much identical with rows of 8. Whereas there's one over to our left which has got 10 rows,
Okay.
and there's one over to our right which has only got 6, and I don't quite know why that is. I'll find out sometime. In the meantime, they're not required, these floodlights, as Grenville comes in, and that's pushed gently out to Tom Abel. So that's a rather needless digression, really.
There was an issue with the Warwickshire a couple of years ago where there was one bowl that just wouldn't go out. It was on for days.
Really?
Yeah, they're trying the old trick, switch it off, switch it back on again. But they just would not go out. I don't know what they did in the end. I've been tempted to aim 6 at it to see if they could hit it.
Grenville is in. Is this an edge? It is. Now that is the end of Liam Norwell, who had resisted bravely, but that was a regulation catch to Steve Davis. The 9th wicket has fallen, and Sam Hain is on the verge of running out of partners. I don't think he had to play.
No, I was
that.
going to say, I'm sorry, but that's a poor shot from Liam Norwell, a really poor shot. There was absolutely no need for him to play at that at all. And that will be a frustration. It is difficult batting out there, but times are not helping themselves. I know he's number 10, and I know he likes to play positive. It wasn't even a particularly positive shot. It was just a sort of airy push at one that was clearly way over the stumps, as well as being wide. And Nor will be disappointed with that one, I think.
Yeah, he'd left several that were in that area previously, and maybe it was just a loss of patience, and maybe you can give some credit to the attack for applying the pressure for so long.
Yeah, and they got him on strike a lot, which I suppose you're always backing a number 10 to play a shot like that at some point. That's why he's number 10. But it's frustrating for Warwickshire point of view. The last 10 overs, and they're probably never going to win the game, but you'd like to see not give the wicket away quite that cheaply.
Yeah, it was a bit of a tame end.
So here's Alan Dalby looking to repeat his batting heroics at Taunton. A century partnership for the last wicket required to win the game.
That was in the days. It was quite early on in this commentary process.
Oh right,
yes.
Yeah, I think. Yeah.
And it was a game that lasted a long time. I think
it's televised. Yeah,
and I think we only had 2 voices.
Oh right, okay.
And it went all 4 days, and it went quite late on the 4th day as well. And Alan Dalby, who was plumb LBW early on in his innings.
He was caught behind. The TV show that he should have been caught behind.
This is outside the leg stump of Hannon Dalby.
Except moaning Somerset supporters, he wasn't, because it was given not out. So tough. And poor old umpire. Actually, it was unfortunate because the poor old umpire. I forget who it was. But
I think it was Nick Cook.
Yeah, and I think he was pretty upset, and I think it affected him for a while after that match because of course the TV cameras there, they analysed all the decisions, and there were a few that were wrong.
Grenville in. That's a full pitch, which Hannon Dalby rather sort of fenced at outside the off stump.
I've got to leave, and I'm not sure whether I'll be back, so I'll just thank everyone for listening in case I'm not. Thank you, Stephen.
Thanks, Clive, who may be back to take over from me, conceivably, when he's done his report for the good burgers of Birmingham and environ. Here goes Grenville in the meantime. Oh, that's a bit of a weak push from Hannon Dalby. Just prodded at it, really, outside his off stump. That won't have inspired much confidence in his partner. Somerset on the verge here. 140 for 9, 1 wicket needed. As Grenville goes in again to the left-handed Hannon Dalby, who gets an outside edge onto this, squeezes it out to Tom Abel at cover. You really feel that the end is nigh for Warwickshire at the end of that over. Groeneveld taking his first wicket. 8 overs, 2 maidens, 1 for 14. More tidy figures up on that board opposite. And Jack Leach has 1 for 15 from 9. They've really applied the pressure well this morning, Isabel.
Absolutely. I mean, they needed 4 wickets, didn't they, Somerset, at the beginning of the day, and they've been relentless in the way that they've bowled. Both Gregory and Overton opening were sharp, good lines and lengths, and quite a lot of playing and missing from batsmen out there, bar Hayne, who has looked pretty solid throughout. He is the established batsman, but boy, is he running out of partners right now. Hannon Dolby, the last man remaining. No wickets in hand. Yeah,
and that was a very tentative start from him as well. Didn't look at all confident.
It was the average 6 in first-class cricket. Is this my end? Am I the river end?
You are.
I'm the river end. Good. Am I bowling into the sun? I'm bowling into the sun, and that's why Jack Leach has got his shades on. He often bowls in his shades, though, doesn't he? It's one of his characteristics. Here he is. He's going to bowl at Hayne, who's on 56. 140 for 9. Warwickshire, a long way off winning this game. Would require 99 more runs as Leach hops, given a jump. He's in and bowls, and there's a positive stride forward there from Hayne. He's, I think, played spin pretty well. He's proactive at the crease in the way that he moves his feet, gets to the pitch of the ball and smothers the ball. That's just a dot. Leach will continue. There's one slip in place, backward point, extra cover long off and a longish on. That's defended once again, and mid wickets in Azhar Ali on the 1. Long leg, that's Trescothick actually down. He's about halfway down towards the boundary, about halfway. There's a deep square leg. There's also a man just parading around in front of the players' pavilion there, out towards the deep extra cover boundary, as Leach is in on his toes and bowls, and that's played towards Hildreth, who is at a backward point position.
It's very unusual these days to see Marcus fielding away from the wicket.
Well, yes, that's why it took me by surprise. Who on earth is down there? It's Marcus Trescothick. He's still got his shin pads on. He's got a big red streak down his thigh. Warwickshire, 140 for 9. Really are about to lose this game. Again, a couple of steps up the pitch there, gets to the pitch of the ball and just sees a defensive shot from Hayne. Hasn't done too much wrong really today, Hayne. He's on 56. Somerset here, just 1 wicket away from victory. I think it'll be the 3rd victory for them, won't it, so far, out of 4 matches. One of them was drawn against Surrey, and that's a nice looking shot. It is the 5th ball of the over, and he'll be happy to take the single at this point, Hayne. He just trundles through for 1 there. That was hit out towards long off, which means Hannon Dolby will only have to face the remaining ball of this Jack Leach over. The left-hander's just busy taking guard. He hasn't faced at this end yet. Leach just rearranging his soldiers for the left-hander. Hayne is coming down the pitch to have a little word with his sparring partner down there. A few words of wisdom and encouragement for Hannon Dolby, who's very much a bowler and not a batsman. All 6'7" of him. Took Pfeiffer in that first innings. 141 for 9. Warwickshire just hanging by a thread at the moment out there. Jack Leach creeping in as he bowls. He comes forward and plays that well, Hannon Dolby. Defends it.
Could have had a single, couldn't he? And they turned it down, I think wisely, because last ball of the over. And Sam Hayne will be on strike. Marcus Trescothick back on more familiar territory for that delivery at short leg. Just swapping his helmet for his cap again now, because he's going to go back to slip.
Yes, but when he's in slip, it's second slip, when it's the spinner on, of course he's down on his knees, isn't he? And he wears a helmet as well, for extra safety.
So can Tim Groeneveld finish it off? He has taken 1 already this morning. Can he take another? Can he administer the coup de grace? He's going to be bowling to the harder of the 2 batsmen to dismiss, Sam Hayne. Top scorer in the match with 57. Groeneveld in. Hayne drives. Will he get a single? He takes 1. Rather surprisingly, actually, given that 1 was turned down off the last ball of the previous over. He's taken 1 off the first ball of the ensuing one.
There's no real logic to this, is there?
No, I don't think he thought about it. He was looking heavenward after taking that single, Sam Hain. I just think he had a bit of a brain fade.
Oh, it's probably an instinct, isn't it? As you say, the batsman's instinct, hit the ball, run.
Yeah.
But at this sort of juncture in the match, it's important that Hain does take the strike.
So here's Grunewald round the wicket to Hannon Dalby, who plays at this one outside the off stump, nearly edges it, doesn't quite. Davis takes, that could have been it, but wasn't.
A couple of tweets here from Sam Wormington. Says, Leach to wrap it up before lunch. Will England go 2 spinners during the Ashes? Well, of course, Leach is right up there, isn't he, in the shot window. He'll be wanting to play as much 4-day cricket as he can.
Here goes Grunewald. Into Hannon Dalby. Oh, that's so easy. Edged again and missed, and James Hildreth had his hands on his mouth there as that went through to Stephen Davis. There was just almost a moment of euphoria, the euphoria of victory, which will be followed by the team's song in reasonably short order. Grunewald is in. Bowls, that's driven. Good looking stroke by Hannon Dalby this time. That's the most confident stroke he's played, but won't get a run for it as it's straight to Tom Abel at cover. Yeah, they've had plenty of opportunities to sing Where Be That Blackbird Too.
Brilliant. Do you know all the words?
Apologies for the accent.
You know the words, Steve. I was going to ask you about the lyrics, Stephen. If you wanted to peel off a verse or two when victory comes Somerset's way.
Here's Grunewald. This once more is a play and a miss. That's 3 times it's happened in 4 deliveries in this over that Hannon Dalby has played and missed.
You just think that Hain is rather regretting the decision to take that single on the first ball of the over, but he did, and it was an instinctive decision. And he's managed to survive 4 balls so far in a row, just about by the skin of his teeth, Hannon Dalby. They want to give the single away. Field has spread a little bit.
Here goes Grunewald. This is driven. Good looking stroke by Hannon Dalby. Out to deep extra cover. They'll take a single. Now that means that Hannon Dalby has kept the strike.
Well, yes. That's why it's a sort of reversal of what they should be doing. As almost if they're farming the strike to Hannon Dalby at the moment. The number 11, he's on 1. Hain at the other end on 58. 143 for 9, Warwickshire. And Somerset just on the brink here of delicious victory at Taunton, which will be 3 wins out of 4 matches. There's 1 draw in amongst those. And they should remain at the top of the table, I would imagine. I haven't studied the table recently to see what other counties are doing around the country.
At the start of proceedings in this game, it was Somerset first, Yorkshire second, Hampshire third, and all quite close together.
Well, Hants has shifted up to 2nd place now. They're still playing, of course. And Yorkshire dropped to 3rd. There's only 4 points between Hampshire and Yorkshire. Somerset right up there with 58. And here is Jack Leach, shaded up with those sunglasses. Here he is. He's coming over the wicket to the left-handed Hannon Dalby. He just nervously pushes at that out into the covers. And there is no run. Short legs in place. That's Seth Gothic, who has sacrificed himself there at short leg. He's suited and booted. He's got the lid on. There's 1 slip. Jack Leach from the river end. Here he is, hop, skip and a jump and bowls, and he comes forward, almost sniffs the ball there, Hannon Dalby, with his forward defensive. There's a backward point, extra cover, mid-off, mid-on, all on the single, mid-wicket and square leg. The only man on the ropes is a deep square leg, pretty square. Once again, Leach up to the crease and bowls, and that's looped up. It's looped and ballooned off the pads of Hannon Dalby and is caught by Tress Gothic. Oohs and ahs there. 143 for 9. Somerset just needing 1 more wicket for a win here. Again, Leach going tightly to the stumps here. Left arm slow, left arm orthodox. That's defended well by Hannon Dalby.
He's playing with a bit more confidence now than he was at the start.
He's been there for a while. He's had a chance to see what's happening out there on this pitch. Leach. Here he is with that very slow walk of his. as he approaches the stumps and bowls, and that's defended again. A little bit of bat, a little bit of pad involved in that. 1-4-3 for 9. Warwickshire, they're a long way behind in this second innings, and Somerset just needing that single wicket to clinch victory. 96 runs they need, Warwickshire here. Here's Scotty, he's back into second slip now. Down on his knees praying. And that's left alone. Extravagant lead there by Hannon Dolby. It's the end of the over. It does mean that Sam Hain will face at last, as he hasn't faced an awful lot of balls recently. The strike has been farmed out to Hannon Dolby, which is really the wrong way round. But he survived that well, I thought, Hannon Dolby, and as Stephen was saying, looking a little bit more competent out there. 1-4-3 for 9, that was a maiden over. Somerset still searching around for that last wicket.
Yep, and Groeneveld, no reason to take him off because he's been as tight as anyone with the ball and has taken a wicket. So he's going to continue. He's having a chat with Tom Abel, presumably about the field, whether he's thought of any possible changes. And yeah, Tom is moving, or is he? I thought he was going to move deep backward square a little bit finer, but he hasn't in the end. Just stayed where he was in the first place. All of it speculative.
A few more tweets coming in. Be careful when you read these tweets out, because victory could come at any moment. Oh, there's a little feather. Look at this. That's just looking rather pretty as it twirls by the window.
Possibly a blackbird feather.
Do you think so?
Should be rather appropriate.
Than a gull. Yes, so you're going to start singing that. You've got to sing that song now. I think you've teed yourself up rather, Stephen, to sing the Somerset song.
Yes, Groeneveld into Sam Hain, who defends. Out to Tom Abel at cover. Just take you through the field, given we were talking about it earlier. Still 2 slips and a gully. There's a deep point. Then Abel is at cover. There's Gregory at mid-off, Azarelli mid-on. Set back a little. George Bartlett is out deep at mid-wicket. And Josh Davies at long leg. As Groeneveld goes in, Hain just allows that to go through to Stephen Davis. You feel that Somerset are sensing that moment of euphoria is at hand.
For a jolly old sing-song. We won't let this go, Stephen Lamb, who knows the lyrics to the Somerset song.
I don't know them all.
Oh, you've already recited the first line quite happily.
Groeneveld outside the off stump, left alone. That's about all I do know.
You're backing out of this one.
I think
Anyway, I have a tweet for you.
There's something about putting it into a pie.
Oh, okay.
Said Blackbird.
Yes.
I don't know much more than that, I'm
We
afraid.
can look it up.
Let's have the tweet.
We can Google. Lloyd White has been in touch. He says, great to see Somerset playing some great cricket prior to the final on Saturday. Where is yours, and fine glance, that means money, to claim silverware on Saturday? Advantage Somerset now, no Vince and Dawson. Well, it's true, certainly, that Vince and Dawson have been taken out of the equation. ICC regulations say that they can't play at that final, which is a shame. I mean, you know, they've got a big enough squad in that World Cup for the warm-up to allow Vince and Dawson to play, but it's not to be.
Groeneveld in, and that's left alone. Wasn't far away from, he was possibly leaving that on length rather than line. Seemed to go over the off stump rather than outside it. Not completely in line, but that's how it looked. Just 1 wicket needed by Somerset. It's taking a while of coming.
It's a slow death here for Warwickshire.
Last ball of the over from Groeneveld is defended by Hain, so no thought of keeping the strike. Applause for Tim Groeneveld. Got quite a few people in, not as big a crowd as yesterday, or I think as the day before actually, but that's understandable.
Well, of course, we're all very unsure of how long today's play would extend to, with only 4 wickets needed for Somerset to win, and 136 at the beginning of the day, 136 runs that Warwickshire required for victory. But it certainly swung hugely, the pendulum, in Somerset's direction now, with 9 wickets down, Warwickshire, 143 for 9. They are now 96 runs behind. Aha! Here comes the skipper with his wibbly wobblies, dibbly dobblies. He's going to bowl gentle little outswingers that are very effective. Picked up a wicket in that first innings, didn't he?
Yeah, picked up a wicket yesterday. Yesterday evening.
Yes.
And it was
LBW, wasn't it, Banks?
Yeah, it was an important one, because Banks has played pretty well in this game.
Yeah. Well, here we go. It's Hannon Dorby to face. He's faced quite a lot of balls in this little partnership between Hayne and Hannon Dorby. Hayne's on 58 at the non-striker's end. 143 for 9. And here we have Tom Abel. He's replaced Jack Leach on that river end. He's just doing a few stretches and warm-ups in the glinting sunshine. Here he is. Tidy run-up. He's in and bowls. Thinks about playing at that. But then thinks again, Hannon Dorby, and extracts the bat out of the way. There are 2 slips from the gully. Backward point. Extra cover mid-off, mid-on. Mid-wicket. There may be a long leg down there somewhere. I just can't see because I can't crane my neck. I get whipped
Yes, there is.
Stevens to my left. She's got a better view. Long leg is hiding to our right. Abel, here he is, hurtling in and bowling. Well, he gets a good bounce there for a medium pacer. Ooh, flies through into the gloves of Stephen Davies. So, come on, old Somerset. 1 more wicket. Can you do it before lunch? What are we, 20 past 12? We'll be hoping to wrap it up before lunch, but these 2 batsmen showing some resilience at the moment. Just bobbing at the crease, Hannon Dorby. Leaves that one alone. Getting a good lift off the length here. Tom Abel. And feeling confident to leave it, Hannon Dorby. That was pretty straight, flew over the stumps.
He's got a lively action, Tom Abel.
Yes, it's sort of deceptive, isn't it? He comes in, and he looks like a bit of a trundler. It's a little bit quicker than you think. Here is Abel again, captain of Somerset, leading from the front and bowling. And that's just a glance shot there. A nice looking shot from Hannon Dorby, a proper cricket shot down towards fine leg, and they go through for the single.
A fine glance,
goes on to, yes, a fine glance. Thank you for that. That is my Twitter handle, by the way, people, at fine glance. It's a fine romance out there, a fine glance. 144 for 9, so Hayne will be facing now. He's on 58.
Yeah, no, that's probably, that will suit Warwickshire's purpose. There are a couple of balls left. The question is, will he try to keep the strike?
Abel bowls, and he's going to take the single here. They should come back for 2. I think they will come back for 2. Yes, they will. It's Bartlett who's in hot pursuit out towards the deep extra covered boundary. Puts in the slide, pops the ball back to the wicket-keeper, and they've gone through for 2. Just found the gap there neatly, did Hayne. He gets on for 60 now. 146 for 9. Keeps the strike. It's the last ball of this Abel over, and we'll see if Hayne does want to take that single. It'll be a nice tight field. Let's see what's happening with the field. Just an adjustment. Everybody's in on the single, wanting to keep Hayne at this end.
Yeah, he'll be looking to bowl offside, I fancy, Tom Abel, for this delivery. He's got a packed offside field.
Here is Abel. Let's see where he puts the ball, how much control he has. He puts a shorter ball in. That's well bowled. Doesn't give Hayne a chance to get anything on that. And he just ducks out of the way. Didn't quite get up as much as he thought it would, I think, Hayne there. But he leaves it alone. And Somerset have won that small battle to keep Hayne at the non-striker's end. And I'm sure it'll be Grinovold to continue from his pavilion end. So still 1 more wicket here, Somerset, before lunch, to grab this game by the horns and take victory. And have a little sing-along. Can you sing the first line again, please, Stephen? I enjoyed it, the lyrics. And the accent, the accent.
You're
a natural. You're a natural.
You thought I was singing it?
Well, it was more a sort of Rex Harrison, wasn't it? Jauntily spoken.
Here is Tim Grenoble starting a new over, and Hannon Dorby gets a delivery that's outside his off stump, but he doesn't need to play. He's just waiting and waiting. How long have these 2 been batting now? 20 minutes. Certainly they came together shortly before I was expecting to have a break from commentary. And staying on in expectation. As Grenoble is in again, that's well outside the off stump. There's not a lot of point bowling that line to Hannon Delby. But the radar will come right, no doubt. 146 for 9, Haynes 60, Hannon Delby 2. Still 93 needed by Warwickshire and just the 1 wicket by Somerset. Grenville in, and oh god, that was within a whisker of the off stump and of the outside edge of the bat as well. That was almost it.
Kept pretty low as well. There's the irregular bounce for you over the last 2 and a bit days.
Very, very quiet around the ground here. I'm sure if and when the wicket does fall, there will be a roar of local approval as Grenville is in, and Hannon Delby plays that rather tentatively from the crease, just pushes it out on the offside, fielded by Abel. So, in theory, we have another 35 minutes play, although lunch could conceivably be delayed, given that the 9th wicket has gone down. And Derby pushes at this again on the offside, won't be a run. I think it's sort of unlikely that it's going to get to 1 o'clock, but they might well continue.
Yes, you think it would be the sensible thing to do to delay lunch. They usually do in these situations, don't they? Whether it be lunch, tea or close of play, with 9 wickets down.
Warwickshire would do fabulously well to get to 1 o'clock with their 10th wicket still intact. Grenville is in, down the leg side, and taken by Stephen Davies. End of the over, 146 for 9. It's all very quiet at the moment because Somerset are applying the pressure well. They're searching for that final breakthrough. Warwickshire are withstanding it well, just hanging on in there, and in consequence the whole game has gone quiet.
A little bit of a lull for this 10th wicket partnership. It's the anticipation of the win, the build-up, isn't it? It's going to happen, it's inevitable at some point. Will it be before lunch? Now, Stephen, I have to say that we've had the lyrics delivered to us here by Steve Tancock has been in touch.
Thank you, Steve.
Read them out to you in a moment. We've got a change of bowling. No, we haven't. Sorry, it is Abel. He's continuing from the river end. He was just warming up there. Here he is, right arm over the wicket. He's bowling to Hayne, who leaves that well alone outside the off stump. Lovely shape from Hayne's bowling, just nipping away off the seam. Thuds into the gloves of Stephen Davies. Still this tantalising 1 wicket to claim here for Somerset. There's a double windmill warm-up act going on out there at mid-on.
Josh Davey.
Josh Davey. We haven't seen Josh Davey yet today. As Abel is in and bowls, and it's not going to be a single. That's hit along the ground to Josh Davey at mid-on. This is Hayne, who's still facing. He's on 60, 146 for 9. 93 runs behind Warwickshire, 93 required to win.
It's worth playing all your cards, isn't it, as a skipper? And Josh Davey is, I think, the one bowler who hasn't been tried yet.
No, that's right. He hasn't had an outing yet. Abel once more, storming in and bowling, and that's played with soft hands and guided down towards the 3rd man. There'll be 4 runs there for Hayne. 4 more to him. He goes on to 64. Just helps the ball along, uses the pace of the ball, beats the slits. 2 slits in the gully that he had to beat there. And 150 has gone up for Warwickshire. Ripple of applause there. Hayne on 64 now. 2 slits still remain. Hayne will continue. Sam Hayne, the only established batsman, remaining for Warwickshire.
89 more needed now.
89. Here is Abel up to the crease, bowls, and that is played into the onside. There are big holes in the onside. They're wanting to give away a single possibly. Now the fielders are coming in towards the end of the over. 2 balls remaining of this over. So deep mid-wicket has come in onto the single now. He was out there on the ropes before. But Point is still out there on the ropes in front of the players' pavilion, the anti-caddick pavilion. I think Abel's just signalled the Point to come in now. He's coming on the 1, keeping it nice and tight. just to contain Hayne.
That's
Keep him down at this end.
rhythmic commentary.
Contain Hayne. 150 for 9. Here's Abel, he bowls. Couple of steps up the pitch there. Nice looking shot there from Hayne. He's going to get 2 for it. As he pushes it into the cover. Oh, it's a poor piece of fielding there. Or possibly he did it on purpose to keep Hayne at the... I don't think so. There was a chase on out towards the extra cover boundary. And the ball just wasn't picked up. It was an easy pick-up. A lapse in concentration out towards the scoreboard there. Get away with a boundary.
There's Lewis Gregory out there, and he wasn't at all happy with himself.
No, but that's actually kept Hayne at right end.
Yeah, I think he would have got 2 anyway, though. So
Yes, you're right, he would have done.
So it would have been 2 less if he pulled it in.
Yeah, and it doesn't look good. 154 for 9. Hayne on to 68 with that, as Abel is in and bowls, and that's left alone outside of the off stump. So, Hayne has remained down at the non-striker's end for the next over, 154 for 9. Cannon Dolby will be facing the music from, is it going to be Davey? Yes it is, he's just taking his sweater off. He's going to bowl from the pavilion end. That is a change in bowling from this end. Somerset still searching around for this final wicket, putting up a little bit of a fight here.
Yeah, all credit to Warwickshire for it as well. Not giving up easily. Long conversation going on between Hayne and Hannon Dalby. 85 more needed. Still looks extremely unlikely, but it is ticking slowly down. These two coming together with the total on 140, so they put on 14 for the last wicket. And they've hung around now for half an hour.
Yeah, just frustrating Somerset here. Going for a bit of pride.
Indeed. Davy's going to start off round the wicket to Oliver Hannon Dalby. In. Bowls. This is off the outside edge and well stopped by Marcus Trescothick, diving to his left at second slip. Held it with his left hand. Good sharp reactions for a 43-year-old. Saw some lovely strokes from Marcus Trescothick yesterday. Haven't seen many long, well, we've only seen one lengthy innings. This one from Sam Hayne, as Davy bowls to Hannon Dalby outside the off stump and left alone. Sam Hayne is the only man to reach a half century, but we did see a couple of those fabled booming Trescothick cover drives yesterday, and I hope we see plenty more as the season progresses.
Yes, will it be his last season or not? If you win the county championship, he'd certainly go out with a bang, wouldn't he? I think that's really what he's hanging on for.
That must be a big reason, mustn't it?
Very good chance of that happening.
Here's Davy. Into Hannon Dalby, who leads again. He's been a very shrewd judge since the very early stages of his innings, when he was quite tentative, Hannon Dalby. This is not the first time he's provided some frustration for Somerset with the bat. Clive and I were talking about it earlier. Warwickshire managed to hang on for a draw here some years ago, but very different circumstances here and now. Davy bowls again outside the off stump, and again he doesn't need to play it, so he doesn't play it.
Yeah, got to make this man play, Hannon Dalby. Force him to make a mistake. But looking quite set at the moment, these two. Last wicket fell at 140. They put in 14 together, but it's really occupation of the crease, I think, for Hannon Dalby, serving that purpose.
Davy tries again. Bowls, and Hannon Dalby drives and won't get a run because of a good stop there by Azhar Ali at mid-on. I was wondering whether he was going to reach that, and he duly did. So half an hour to go before lunch now.
Well, you never know. Lunch
I think
approaching.
I'm going to have to give way to Clive when he's done his report, because having been commentating since the start.
Well, I know it's a difficult decision for you, Steve. You want to be here for the win, for the jubilation, don't you?
Here is Josh Davy, and that's outside the off stump again, and left alone by Hannah Derby. So he really only had to play one delivery in that over, and Somerset would have liked more than that. 154 for 9 at the end of it. Hannah Derby on 2, Hayne on 68, 85 needed.
Yeah, it's not really the tactic, I think, with Hannah Derby. You've got to make him play, bowl a couple of snorters at him, rattle his cage. He's a genuine tail ender. He's looking a little bit too comfortable at the moment, as far as Somerset are concerned.
Yeah, they may be thinking that that's the way they got Liam Norwell, that they can perhaps frustrate him into playing a shot outside that off stump.
He doesn't look like a rash man.
No, he
does
doesn't.
So far, he hasn't thrown a bat at it.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it's a viable tactic, really.
No, I think they need to change their tune a little bit and how they deal with Hannah Derby. They want to be bowling at him and not at Hayne, because Hayne hasn't made any mistakes. I think...
Bowling change in the commentary box.
Is it me or you?
No, Clive's going to come back into me.
Okay. I think Stephen deserves a break. He's been on since the beginning of play. Just waiting for Somerset to clinch victory so he can talk the listeners through it as the voice of Somerset, but he must go and have a cup of tea and take a comfort break. He's only human. 154 for 9 here at Warwickshire, and Somerset still crying out for this last wicket to win the game. We're only in day 3, it's before lunch. Wickets have been tumbling. This is for the 40th wicket of the match. As Abel is still bowling, the captain, and that is loaded because they're not going to take the single. He turns down the single there, Hayne. He's going to remain on strike. They want him to take the single, but he's not interested. The field has spread exactly for that reason. Welcome to Clive Eakin.
Thank you. Well, you give Warwickshire credit for fighting here, but it's going to be sort of worrying. They had Somerset 78 for 7. If they could go all out for 100, they'd be right in this now.
Abel once more, quite wide of the crease there. There's a misfield going on. A little lapse in concentration there from the slip cordon, but in fact they're not going to take the run. They could have again taken another single, but Hayne has sent Hannah Derby back, who was interested in taking that single. So that's 2 singles so far they've turned down in this over. 154 for 9. Hayne still facing.
It's been a terrific effort from Sam Hayne, and good intelligent support from Molly Hannah Derby.
Here is Abel, he's trundling in and bowling, and that's left alone outside the off stump. Good looking leave there from Hayne, good judgment. And still a deep mid wicket, and a long leg down there, and out in the covers, we've got a deep cover in front of the players' pavilion.
Gloucestershire won the race to finish their game first, by the way, and they've beaten Durham by 6 wickets at Chester Street.
Bustling in, Tom Abel, the captain, from that river end. That's a good-looking drive. It's hit a couple of divots in the ground and gone left and right, that ball, before it thuds into the boundary boards in front of the Colin Atkinson pavilion. Out towards sort of wideish, long off. A nice-looking shot there from Hayne. Beautifully found the gap. 4 more runs for him, 72, 158 for 9 for Warwickshire.
They did our bowler's mark on that slightly odd pitch, which is very narrow. Almost held the ball up. Possibly the fielder, if he reacted quicker, might have stopped it as a result. But 4 more runs. Hey, now on 72, I suppose. While win is very, very unlikely. 28 away from a century, not completely beyond the bounds of possibility. It'll be some century if he manages it.
He hangs on to his partner, Abel. Storms in and bowls. The fielders have crept in now on the single. Everybody in on the single apart from long leg. Just to deny Hayne from taking a single. They want to be bowling at Hannah Derby. That's the idea.
Took Somerset less than half an hour to get the first 2 wickets. Henry Brooks going to Lewis Gregory for 2, Jitan Patel to Craig Overton for 4. But since then it's now over an hour, quite a bit over an hour, to take the last 2. They've got Liam Norwell eventually for 13 to Tim Grunewald.
Here is Abel, leaps into action, past the umpire and bowls, and that's driven off the front foot there, and it's fielded by extra cover. It's a well-packed offside, very much bowling to that field is Tom Abel, and denies that single. It's worked, so Hannah Derby will have to face the bowling of Josh Davey once again from this pavilion end. 158 for 9, Hayne on 72. Hannah Derby on 2, we're into the 65th over now. This will be the beginning of the 65th over. So that ball getting pretty old, getting into its twilight years, must be quite soft by now.
Yes, and I suppose the problem for Warwickshire, the way they're scoring, they won't have won the game by the time the new ball is due, if we're still here then. 16 overs to go. Hannah Dolby's faced 32 balls so far, and he's shown how to do it. He's not played when he hasn't had to. Davey comes into bowl, round the wicket to him, and he doesn't have to play at that one, so doesn't. One or two of the decision making from some of the lower order batsmen has been a little awry today for Warwickshire. But Hannah Dolby is batting intelligently. Somerset have just got to remain patient. I know sooner or later they'll get him out. And they're not in any danger at the moment. If that target got down to below 50, they might start getting a bit nervous, but no need for them to be concerned at the moment. Davey round the wicket to Hannah Dolby, who plays a nice looking shot. Had to play that one, played it nicely to mid-off for no run.
We were just discussing, Clive, whether they'll extend play.
Yeah,
they probably will.
I think
rather than stopping for 40 minutes for lunch. If we get to 1 o'clock.
I think it's an automatic. I can't remember whether it's 15 minutes or half an hour when they're 9 wickets down. I think it may be half an hour. So, yes, they will delay lunch if they haven't got the wicket by then. Davey into Hannah Dolby, who drives at that one. That's a good shot from Hannah Dolby. He's going to get 4 runs here, I think. As he's chasing, he's given up the chase, and a good 4 for Ollie Hannah Dolby. He moves on to 6, 162 for 9. These two have added 22 so far for the last wicket. Actually, Hannah Dolby was involved in a reasonable last wicket partnership in the first innings as well, when he managed, after 3 wickets had gone on 110, he had a 25, him and Liam Norwell, before Norwell was out. He hasn't been out of the match yet, Hannah Dolby. He's got 17 runs. So that's improved his career average somewhat. Davey comes into bowl to him. He leads. That's a very wide delivery, bit of a waste from Davey. And Hannah Dolby's not tempted. And it remains 162 for 9. Like I said, the crowd have value for money, but of course they haven't cost them any money. They've seen free admission today, and but they'll probably feel that was worth coming. We've seen a decent amount of cricket over an hour and a half now.
Yeah, especially if you're a Somerset supporter, you're going to turn up to watch your side win, grab victory.
Davey into Hannah Dolby, 2 slips and a gully, and he's edged that, but he's into the ground, soft hands, and it's gone past the dive of second slip, and that is the second boundary of the over for Ollie Hannah Dolby, albeit a streaky one, but some credit for keeping the ball down. He's on to 10, 166 for 9, so I think the target's down to 73. Still, I don't think something that will trouble. They're probably at the mildly irritated stage at the moment, Somerset, with this last wicket partnership, nothing more than that.
She's not looking very threatening at the moment, Geoff Davey. And Hannah Dolby, I know that was an edge, but even so, he's still looking quite comfortable against Josh Davey.
Now, he's hit a couple of 4s. He's got to keep his concentration out from the last ball of the over and just keep it out. There's plenty of opportunities for a single, but we've seen that Warwickshire started turning those down now. Davey in, and he's played it away. Indeed, he could have had a single there, but they don't take it. The end of a lucrative over, though, for Warwickshire. 166 for 9. 73 more required to win, 72 to tie. Somerset need 1 more wicket. And Warwickshire would have to play out another 166 overs if they're going for the draw.
Yeah, she's slowly nibbling away at this deficit, Warwickshire. It's not quite squeaky buttocks time yet for Somerset, but just edging towards it slowly. And Sam Haynes certainly looks competent out there. Hasn't made any mistakes today. Seeing the ball well. This ball is pretty old and saggy by now at 65 overs. 166 for 9. Continuing with the captain, Tom Abels, and keep himself on. He's going to be bowling to Hayne. That's trying to look at his field at the moment. He's going to send a man out towards third man down there. Yes, third man is down there on the ropes. He's also got a deep square leg, a long leg, and a deep point. So 1, 2, 3, 4 men on the boundary. Here is Abel. A little jog as he starts, pumping his arms. He's in and bowls and defended well there, solidly by Hayne. Watches it right under his nose.
Well, they know he's not going to go for a single, Somerset, so they're making it as difficult as possible for him to get a boundary. But no, he's not going to go for a single. It could conceivably be a little bit more attacking, maybe, than just having the 2 slips in place. Somerset prepared to be patient.
Abel turns, runs towards us, arrow-like as he bowls, and that is just a lovely looking shot there from Hayne. It's in the V, it's a check drive, lovely and straight, and that goes towards the boundary board in front of the Ian Botham stand, and that's 4 more now, 170 for 9, and Hayne on to 76, not that far away from his century. We mentioned it before.
A marvellous piece of footwork though from Ollie Hannon-Dolby at the non-striker's end, who managed to leap so that the ball went through his legs for the 4. Sharp movement from him.
Abel, here he is, up to the crease, bowls, and skies that down towards third man, who's down on the boundary, George Bartlett, who collects that up. They go through for the single. Only 2 balls into this over.
Third, 3 balls.
Sorry,
over,
3.
yeah.
The school ball's catching up with us.
It is interesting that he's gone for the single after just 3 balls. Having already hit the 4, I would have been tempted to stay there, but it gives Hannon-Dolby 3 balls to survive.
171 for 9 following that single. Yeah, he's got a bit more faith in his partner at the other end, Hannon-Dolby. Survived well so far. He's on 10, Hannon-Dolby, the left-hander. 6'7" off him as he's in and bowls, Tom Abel. And they're going to take the single here. They'll think about the second. Yes, he does want the second. A little bit stuttering, the running, as to whether or not they want to take it and still keep Hannon-Dolby on strike, but they have taken it, and that's 2 more, so 173 for 9. And Hannon-Dolby goes on to 12. He just played that down towards third man and stole 2 runs.
Yes, 33 this partnership's worth now.
Yeah, a valiant effort, this last wicket partnership. That's pretty wide of off stump and very full and left alone there by Hannon-Dolby. No need to play at that or have a nibble. 2 slips and the gully in place. But yeah, frustration here for Somerset. In fact, we've had a tweet about frustration from Stephen, who says, as Fine Lance and Clive say, last wicket stands are very, very frustrating, certainly frustrating for Somerset. But rather obdurate behaviour here from Hannon-Dolby and Hayne. The field is spreading. This is the last ball of the over. I want to give the single, of course. Hannon-Dolby is facing the left-hander, 2 slips in place. He hurtles in, Abel, and there's a big shout for LBW. Everybody's gone up. But Neil Allender is not interested.
So it might have been close. I don't know whether they got an inside edge onto his pads, or maybe it was angling too far down the leg side, but number 11s always believe that they get less of the benefit of the doubt when they're batting, but Neil Allender, I think, thought about that. Judging from how long the appeal went on, I don't think he immediately said not out. He thought about it, but decided no, not out, and so Hannon-Dolby survives, Warwickshire survive, and well, they are putting up a fight. The problem is, when you put up a battle and get sort of close-ish, it does leave you thinking about what might have been in various parts of the game, what they could have done better just to turn what's in the end going to be a fairly narrow defeat into a victory. Craig Overton back into the attack, so he will fancy his chances of wrapping this up, ending this nonsense as far as Somerset see it.
Bit of firepower here from a great height, 6'5", Overton. He does get that extra bounce from that height, as well as a probing line of length.
Like I said, I think Hannon-Dolby will enjoy it. Hayne will need to protect his partner. He's on strike, Hayne, so he'll want to stay that way as much of this over as he can. Let's see if he goes for a single 3rd ball this time. Overton in the bowl to him. It's a good accurate delivery which Hayne pushes out to the offside for no run. 77 for Sam Hayne, which, put that into context, that is, I think now double what the second highest score, in fact more than double what the second highest individual score of the match was. So that's a very impressive 77 from Sam Hayne. Overton bowls to him, and he drives that. Nice shot, straight to mid-off, so Lewis Gregory fields as no run. 173 for 9. I think they'd have to get the target to less than 50 for Somerset to move to the mildly concerned stage, from the mildly irritated that they are now.
No cold
So
sweats
mildly
quite yet.
concerned. No. Overton into bowl to Hayne, who turns that round his path and has taken a single third ball. Interesting. Hayne is backing his partner to the last 3 balls in an over. He's on to 78. And it's 174 for 9. And, well, Overton will fancy his chances against Ollie Dolby, I'm sure.
Yeah, I think that's a good bowling change. I don't think Josh Davies is making too many inroads into either batsman at this point. And with a softer ball, I think you need a cricket bowler really to get some life out of it.
Looking for his 8th wicket of the match, Craig Overton. To wrap it up. He comes in to bowl. Round the wicket. It's a good delivery, too good for Ollie Dolby, who plays down the wrong line. What occurs to me, of course, is it's fine bringing Overton in now, provided we don't get to the stage where they're going to take the new ball. They will hope to have wrapped it up by then, but the new ball is due in 15 overs after this one. So it may not be too long. If Warwickshire do manage to keep Overton out, they may only have to keep him out for 2 or 3 overs with that in mind. Some sort of thing about bringing Leach back on for a bit. Dolby defends that. There's no run. Hayne clearly had faith in Dolby defending against Leach, because I think that was the tactic while Leach was bowling, to allow Dolby to take Leach, while Hayne took the seamers. He went slightly awry on the first ball of an over when he thought he could run 2 and realised he could only get 1, which exposed Dolby, but he survived. But it's good stuff from Overton. He's got Dolby to play miss. He's made him play at the next one, but there's only 1 more ball left for Dolby to see off. 3 sits still in place. The rest of the field spread out. Overton in. Oh, and Hayne ducks under that and it hits him. Not sure where it hit him, but he's not showing any great anguish, and it rolls away. And without knowing much about the last ball, Dolby survives it. 174 for 9. We're ever closer to the scheduled lunch. I think we will carry on. And Isabel, I think, is anticipating the winning wicket is going to come any moment now. So she's inviting Stephen Lamb back in to take it. But you can quite phone with most commentators try and make sure the right person's speaking. I remember hearing match last season I was listening to Leicestershire versus Glamorgan, and bearing in mind that how few games, which way around was it? Neither of those teams win very many games, frankly. And I think it was Leicestershire were 9 wickets down and needed about 3 runs to win. So Nick Webb, the Glamorgan commentator, said, well, I'll bet Andy Richard for the winning runs. And of course, next ball, Glamorgan got the winning wicket.
Yes, I think it was just under an hour ago that you said you probably weren't coming back.
I think they have brought us lunch, so that's the good news. I heard some clapping behind us anyway.
There are some sandwiches.
Oh, splendid.
As Gregory starts a new over. He's come on to replace Tom Abel and has been hit for 4, down for fine leg. So that's 4 more of those 65 runs required for victory. Goes down to 61.
Yes, still mildly irritated, or maybe moving now to quite irritated. I still don't think there's any great concern for Somerset. I am a bit surprised they haven't brought Jack Leach back on, with this ball being as old as it is. See if he can get that final wicket.
Here is Gregory in bright sunshine. And that's steered out to deep extra cover. He could have had a run if he wanted it, Sam Hayne, but he didn't. That's second ball of the over.
Here's a question. If he's on 99 off the first ball of the over and he's offered a single, does he take it? That's the question.
I think Somerset supporters would hope that's hypothetical.
Yeah, well, he's only 18 away from that century, so partnership of 38 now. This is, I think, Warwickshire's biggest partnership of the match.
Here comes Gregory. In bowls, that's an outside edge, which is going to go down to third man for a couple.
Single,
beg his pardon. Fielded down there by Craig Overton.
Yes, bounce in front of the slip cordon. Hayne consistent, happy to take the single off the third ball of the over, which does mean that Hannah Dobby is getting half of the strike at the moment. And Somerset have got to believe, as long as that happens, they'll get Hannah Dobby eventually, well though the number 11 is playing.
Yes, it probably helps Warwickshire's cause that Hannon Dalby is a left-hander, so you have got the change around in the field, which happens as Gregory comes in to bowl again, and that's outside the off stump and left alone. I have the feeling with Hannon Dalby that the more you make him play, the better.
Yeah, absolutely, and because Hannon Dalby, unlike some of his higher order batsmen, the ones above him in the batting order, is perfectly willing to leave the ball.
You don't fancy him to get out in the way Liam Norwell did, for example?
No.
Gregory into him again, and this one he defends comfortably enough up to Azhar Ali at mid-on.
There are a certain number of 11s who've learnt how to survive, haven't they? They don't score any runs, but they learnt how not to give their wicket away cheaply. And Hannon Dalby is one of those. He's not, I think his career average is about 6, and he's not going to score loads of runs, but he can hang around, particularly when he's got a senior batsman at the other end. One more ball to survive this over, though.
To be bowled by Lewis Gregory, and it's defended, and a single is on offer but not taken. That's predictable given it's the last ball of the over. Jack Leach is the fielder out at deep extra.
That would make me cross though if I was a number 11 batter. I'd be thinking all the runs I could have had in my career, but I'm not allowed to run it because we don't want to take the single. 179 for 9, another over survived, still 60 required for Warwickshire, so this is all probably prolonging the agony, but it gives them some credit. It might just raise the morale a little bit. They've shown a bit of fight in difficult batting conditions against a team that are top of the table and might well, whisper it quietly, go on to win the county championship. In the end, they're not going to be losing by very much. Small consolations, maybe. Craig Overton in to try and finish this off. Just 2 slips in place of Sam Hayne, who drives at that and thought about taking the single and then remembered, oh, hang on, I better not do that, as he runs it down to third man.
He forgot that once,
yes.
I think, earlier on.
I think, in fairness, my interpretation is he thought he'd beaten the fielder at mid-off and was going to be able to get 2.
Yeah.
But yes, you're right, he was a bit cross with himself on that occasion. And this time, no such error. Again, will he go for it third ball? Probably. He has the last few overs. Overton comes in to bowl to him, right arm over, and that's hit him on the pads. There's a big appeal, but Jeremy Lloyd, I think, is fairly quick in saying not out. Might have been too high, might have come off the bat. One quite loud shout against Hannon Dalby, which Neil Mallender seemed to think about, but give not out. Jeremy Lloyd was pretty quick in, I think, dismissing that one.
I think the Tom Abel one was probably closer than that. We're not absolutely sure up here, but it looked close, the Tom Abel one. Very close indeed.
Overton comes in to bowl, and that's played to the offside. And, well, that's interesting, because that was the third ball of the over, and I think he possibly could have got one there, but didn't take it. And the field is still spread out, and that tells Sam Hayne something. I can wait till the fourth ball of an over now. Because this is the fourth ball about to come, and the field is still spread out, so he can get the one now. That might make him change the way he plays subsequent overs. Overton comes in to bowl to him, and he hits it down the ground. Didn't go exactly where he intended, but he's still able to get through for the one. That was always the intention, to get the single. 180 then for Warwickshire, stand of 40 now for this wicket. And Hayne, he feels probably going to be unlucky in terms of getting a century. He's 84 not out.
Quick word between the two batsmen as the sun comes through on part of the ground at least. It's just gradually spreading.
Catering staff will be getting annoyed now. We got our lunch ready for 1 o'clock. It's 1 o'clock. That's what you said. You can't stop rolling at 1:30 and expect your nice hot food. Overton in to Hannon Dalby, who defends that one well, and there is no run. But again, he made him play Overton, the right thing to do. That one didn't bounce much, but I think only needs one to keep low, or just to move away and get the outside edge, as long as he makes them play. Short leg in, 3 slips, and now they're bringing in possibly a 4th slip. Last ball of the over as the train leaves Taunton Station, heading possibly for Plymouth. Overton round the wicket, and it opens the face of the bat there. And Dolby thinks, I want to run, but he's not allowed it. Sam Hain says, nope, stay where you are. But he's negotiated well. I have to say, this is a good effort from Hannon Dolby. It's all getting frustrating for Somerset. They will be saying to themselves, we're still going to win, let's not worry, but it's taken a lot longer than they thought. The last wicket, how many overs is it now? It's I didn't make a note of the time, but it was a 55th over,
well,
so it was 50.
And they've been batting for an hour.
Yeah.
And it's not the first time Ollie Hannon Dolby has batted for an hour here.
Yeah, indeed. And once again, Somerset probably say, oh, we had them out.
He'd have that in the back of his mind, wouldn't he?
Oh, sure, yeah. But, well, he'll also be thinking about Sam Hain, thinking, can I at least get Sam to 100? Because it would mean a lot to Hain, that.
Lewis Gregory then, starting a new over from the river end. This is driven by Hain. Run on offer, but not taken. Fielded out at deep extra.
It is a funny game, cricket, isn't it? I mean, what other sport do you have? Situation where you deliberately try and let your opponent score, or you deliberately choose not to score when you could.
I suppose it works in Somerset's favour to a degree, because the new ball is due in 10 overs time now.
Yeah.
As Gregory comes in, bowls, that's pushed up to long on, and again a run is available but not taken. So all these sort of potential singles that are turned into dot balls, the more there are, the nearer the new ball comes, and we've seen how the new ball behaves in these conditions.
It's also difficult for Hain to score boundaries with this field, because it's all spread out offering the one, they're all on the boundary, so he can hit a good shot and not get a boundary for it.
Here's Gregory. Bowls, Hain drives, again turns down the single.
Now, Hain was thinking, well, last over they kept the field out 4th ball, so I don't have to take it this ball. Well, Somerset might call his bluff and bring them in, but they're not. That's making it quite easy for Sam to think, okay, single next ball.
Here comes Gregory. Bowls, this is pulled, it's in the air, but it's going to go over the head of the fielder for 4. It was in the air for a long time, and it looked as though it might be a chance, but no.
Well, he started running in there, Tim Grunewald. I don't think he'd have got there anyway, because he was already started. His initial position was a fairway in, but he started running in when actually he should have run back. And that bounced just in front of the boundary rope. I don't think that's a shot Sam Hain intended, but well, he's got the 4 for it. Now the field comes in to try and make it hard for him to get a single. 55 required. I'm sticking with the under 50 as the point where Somerset might get just mildly concerned. But Hain on to 88, so 3 more of those.
This is cut straight to George Bartlett at backward point.
I really wasn't expecting to do a 1 o'clock news piece, Stephen, but I better go and do it.
You'll be able to encourage them. Hain does some gardening. And it's all, apart from 1 or 2 shouts of encouragement amongst the fielders, it's all very, very quiet here at Taunton at the moment. As Gregory comes in, this is driven firmly up to mid-on, and well, he may have got the boundary, but what he didn't get was the opportunity to keep the strike at the end of the over. Lewis Gregory has denied him that, with the field coming in to save the single. That last ball was driven up to mid-on, and you may hear on the public address system there that lunch delayed by half an hour. because the 9th wicket has fallen. We were expecting that. So Craig Overton will continue. Slight concern, and one I'm sure that Tom Abel will be considering, in bowling his new ball pair of Overton and Gregory at the moment, with the new ball only 10 overs away. How long does he keep them on? Does he rest them, give them a little bit of a break? Overton is in to bowl to the left-handed Hannon Dalby, who's going to get a single here, which is exactly what he wanted, down to third man. In fact, with 10 overs remaining before the new ball is taken, it won't be available until after lunch. Isabel Duncan, who's come back in.
Yes, good afternoon everybody. Yeah, we're quite surprised to still be here. These two are showing real resilience, particularly that of Hannon Dalby, who is not a batsman, but to have 13 to his name, and I think they've been there for over an hour together, is that right?
Yep, that's right.
And they've put on, let's have a look, 45 runs as well as a pair. They'll be thinking now, I'm sure, between the two of them, they need to score their runs in the next 10 overs with that soft ball. It's not doing quite so much.
Overton in. This is driven by Hayne, and it's a good stop out at deep extra cover by Tom Abel. No run. There could have been a run, but there wasn't.
It's just finding that balance, isn't it? It's very difficult for Sam Hayne to score boundaries when the field is spread like this. He's not taking the singles, and it certainly slows up his campaign to get a century, which would, I suppose, naturally happen more quickly.
Overton in again, and this is going to be another dot ball, despite the fact that the ball has gone out to deep mid-wicket. So it's the third ball of the over, and it's this funny situation where you wonder which ball the batsman will be thinking of taking the single when the moment is to bring the field in. We've got a deep third man, we've got a deep extra cover. Long mid on and mid off both set back. There's a deep mid wicket and a long leg, as this is going to go down to fine leg for 4. Overton just straying fractionally to the leg side, and Hayne just helping that on its way. So he's managed a boundary in each of the last 2 overs. Well, 50 required now, exactly. Somerset still needing the 1 wicket.
Yes, very interesting situation, and Hayne on 92, into the 90s now. He's done remarkably well to get into that position. Hannon Dalby, very good support act for him. We just assumed that he'd run out of partners, and he'd never reach those 3 figures, but he's tantalisingly close now, just 8 runs away. He might have to let Clive back into the attack if Hayne does get up into the late 90s to see him through.
1 or 2 adjustments in the field. Azhar Ali's been called in from long leg to field at gully. Josh Davies gone to where Azhar Ali was. Craig Overton is in and bowls, and that has hit Sam Hayne, I think, on the peak of the helmet. He's down, and I think he's okay, but a glancing blow that. He's saying he's all right. He's walked off in the direction of short leg. I don't think he wants any attention.
No, he wants to get on with it. There have been 2 blows to the helmet off the bowling of Overton, as Hannon Dalby was hit on the helmet earlier on.
Overton in again outside the off stump and left alone by Hayne.
It's usually a ball they think is going to bounce more and lift off a length, but it is an old ball. It's 71 overs old, and it's not bouncing as much as it once did, and just taking evasive action a little bit too early and taking his eye off the ball too early and getting a blow to the side of the helmet.
Yeah, it's the oldest ball we've seen in action in this match by a long way.
Certainly is. Sagging around the middles now, this old ball. 9 overs away from the new ball, though. It's on the horizon. But 50 more runs required to win for Warwickshire. 9 wickets down. Somerset still searching for this final wicket. What a partnership between these two. Hannon Dalby's facing. He's on 13. 2 slips from the gully. Lewis Gregory from this river end. Here he is, bustling in and bowling. He's getting good bounce from that river end. That's left alone outside the off stump by Hannon Dalby. He's shown real character out there, Hannon Dalby. Hasn't really done anything too rash, Hasn't thrown his wicket away. He's stuck around for Hayne. Hayne is eternally grateful for his 92 runs and been given the time. Fantastic last wicket partnership. 189 for 9, Warwickshire. Gregory bowling tightly. That's just defended. Paul just lies dead in front of him there, Hannon Dalby. And no run. Somerset fans are trying to gee up the bowlers. I think Tractor's been quite vocal today, hasn't he, Stephen? Getting these bowlers to take the last wicket.
Yes, I think right on cue there. Just heard him.
There was a bit of a roar, wasn't there, from underneath the scoreboard from Mr. Tractor. So Lewis Gregory, again, coming right arm around the wicket and just pushes at that one into the covers, and the covers are certainly well protected there, and that's fielded by mid-off for no run. And Dalby remains on 13 into the 72nd over. You'd think that these two opening balls, I know you mentioned it earlier actually, you don't want to tire them out too much before they take the new ball. Perhaps fill in with Jack Leach, and then Overton will certainly want to take the new ball if we get to that point. Lunch has been extended, you heard that announcement earlier, by half an hour. As Gregory bowls, and it's gone in the air and it's caught! That was Hannon Dalby. It's come off a thick edge, it's caught by second slip, and that is the end of the Warwickshire innings. Hayne does not get to his 92, he's 8 runs short, 189 for 10 wickets, and Somerset have won by 50 runs, Stephen.
They have indeed, and Hannon Dalby is absolutely distraught. He stayed on one knee looking. No one is more upset on this ground, I swear, than Ollie Hannon Dalby. He gets consoled by his batting partner Sam Hayne, who didn't get through to his 100. What an innings he played, Sam Hayne. Undoubtedly the standout innings of the match, and what fantastic last wicket Warwickshire resistance. You've got a feel for them. Congratulations being extended all around. Hands shaken with umpires, both batsmen. Somerset obviously delighted, but they were becoming nervous moments out there, I tell you. It gets like it. And they will be relieved, Somerset, as well as delighted. Lewis Gregory is the man who's done the trick. Craig Overton, the man taking the catch. And Somerset won't need a new ball. They've won 3 championship games out of 4. Well played Somerset in the end, but a magnificent piece of resistance from Warwickshire.
Yes, plaudits as well. We mustn't forget Sam Hayne on his 92.
Quite right, as the players walk off, led off by the 2 batsmen who will be absolutely gutted at the moment. And Tom Abel shaking hands with Jeetan Patel, his opposite number. Good to see him out there. Just in front of the Andy Caddick Pavilion. And I have to tell you, having talked about the victory song right about an hour and a quarter ago, I was wishing I hadn't.
Yes, the commentator's curse, just setting yourself up. I know. When it got down to 50 runs, I was thinking this is going to be close. In fact, I think Somerset have won by 49 runs, if we're going to be
that's right.
accurate about this.
Yeah, Warwickshire needed 50 at the point where the last wicket fell, so you subtract 1. So it's its 49-run victory, and Somerset supporters can breathe a sigh of relief. They can go and congratulate the players, and well, we know where the blackbird is at last. Or though we don't, in fact we'll never know.
Is the blackbird in the pie?
I don't know whether Clive's got a moment to come in for a last word or two. But Isabel, many thanks.
Thank you very much.
Your
Enjoyed
company
that
in the
thoroughly.
commentary box over the last few days.
Thank you, Stephen.
Thanks to Isabel Duncan and Clive Eakin. Well, heroic resistance at the end there.
Yeah, I mean, Warwickshire will take positives. The Sam Haynes performance, outstanding. His 92 not out will do in the world of good. Ollie Hannon Dalby resisting well there at the end. It was never likely, even though they got to within 50, but they made a fist of it and they showed some fight. But they'll also be honest with themselves, and they'll know that they were deficient at times in this game, and that cost them. In what in the end has been quite a close game, and there will be a feeling of what might have been. And it is 3 defeats out of 3. It's a difficult start to the season, so there are positives there. There are reasons for hoping that things will get better, but ultimately, Warwickshire need to be better. They need to be better very quickly.
Well, Clive, many thanks for your
Thank
company
you.
over the last few days, and it's been a roller coaster of a championship match here. It's over in 2 days and one session in the end, although the session was extended by that last wicket stand by Warwickshire by 10 minutes, but Somerset have done it in the end. Congratulations to them. They should keep their place at the top of the championship table. Haven't looked at the figures yet, but thank you also for your company.
I think they're going to win the championship, by the way.
Well, thank you, Clive. That's going to be heartening for many
I
Somerset
have said that
supporters.
before when they haven't won it, to be fair, but I think they will.
And that's from someone who's seen his team win the championship before, which Somerset supporters haven't yet done. Could this be the year? So, join us again. I tell you, the tension has been growing within all of us here in the commentary box, and it is now beginning to dissipate. Anthony and Mark Davis and I will be back with you on Saturday from Lords, and a huge day awaiting Somerset there, of course. And I hope you can join us. If you can't make it to Lords itself, we will be there on the website and on the radio on BBC Somerset. So hope very much you can join us then. At the moment, from me, from Isabel, from Clive, have a very good rest of the day. Goodbye.
Gloucestershire 174 and 119 for 4.
Cleared.